Hi, my name's Ryan, Hiring Guru, with today's hiring tip. The question for today is, what are you doing to prevent bad hires? Make sure you stick around to the end. I've got an awesome new tool that we call the Turnover Analyzer. It helps you walk through your turnover from the past year and analyze exactly what is causing it, where kind of group them and sort them into different groups that will then help you know how to take action to reduce your turnover. All right, so turnover is always a problem for businesses, and the tighter the labor market gets, the higher turnover seems to go. It's because without unemployed people to hire, employers start attacking each other's weak defenses, we'll call it, right? We start trying to hire and steal employees from our competitors. And so that's going to drive up your turnover. There's also all different types of turnover. Because applicant flow is low, you might settle for somebody who ends up being not a good fit. The job seeker might leave because they don't like your organization. Who knows what the cause of turnover is, but turnover is high in a lot of industries, and it isn't getting better. And there's lots of different causes, but the key is it's probably super frustrating for you as the person trying to drive the hiring process. You go through all this work to attract candidates, to screen them, to interview them, to send out offer letters and do background checks, etc., etc. There is so much time and energy and effort invested in a new hire just to have them quit 1 week, 3 weeks, 9 months later. It really doesn't matter how long it takes them to quit. The fact that they quit means you've got to start all over again and do it again. It's like Groundhog Day, right? And so the fact of the matter is turnover is hugely frustrating for everybody in the organization. It isn't just about the cost, though. Most of the time when we think about turnover, we're looking at the cost of it in dollars and expenses, but it also costs us in other ways. It costs us in morale. It costs us in revenue. You know, when salespeople turn over and leaves the organization, it takes 6-9 months for a new one to get up to that same speed. It harms the sales manager's quota. You name it, turnover has massive, massive negative implications for an organization. And so my question is, if turnover is something you're struggling with, what are you doing to prevent bad hires? Or the inverse of that, what are you doing to identify who the best people are, who will be a good fit, who will be able to do the job you need done, and will stick around for your organization for a long period of time? So I came up with a handful of different ideas of things that we've done here at Applicant Pro to decrease our turnover and ensure that job seekers, that the people we hire, are the best possible fits for the job. The number one is right off the bat is to say, be clear about who it is you're looking for. What does success actually look like? It isn't enough to just look at the requisition. It isn't enough to listen to your manager and hear them say what the requirements are, what they're looking for. Go and look at your best employees. Again, those who actually are sticking around. Go look at their resumes. Go look at what makes them a good fit for the job. Ask them why they like the job and what they like doing there, because really what you're looking to do is to clone those best employees who stick around. And you can't do that if you don't know what makes them tick. Next up, validate those jobs. This is kind of what I was talking about. Don't just take the requisition from the manager, but also validate that against real live employees. If an employee doesn't have or didn't have when they started with you the qualifications for the job, then they must not be real qualifications. You want to kind of think about this in the terms of what is a qualification you must have to do the job versus what you have to be hired for the job, because those are two separate things. And so you just want to make sure that you're validating, are the requirements we're putting out there real? Are we screening out good people who would actually stick around, and we're ending up with people who will only stick around for a little while because then they'll move on to something else. Next up, get beyond the resume. A resume is just a snapshot and just one part of what makes up a person and whether they'll stick around and whether they'll be a good employee. That's just telling you what they've done in the past. It doesn't predict how they will act in the future. So there are some important points and things that you can do to ensure that you really know what this person is and if they'll fit in with your organization. The first one is the interview. You need to interview more than just looking at, can they do the job? What did they do before? Do they have the right education and skills? But actually dig deeper and figure out what their culture and values are and if they fit or in alignment with your organization. We use Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni to come up with our values of humble, hungry, and smart. He has a download guide of interview questions. They are values-based interview questions to ensure that somebody that we're considering for the job fits our values, because if they don't fit our values, most likely they're going to turn over, or even worse, they don't turn over and they stay around, right? And so we want to make sure we're interviewing not just for skills, not just for qualifications, not just for education, but also for culture and value fit. Next up, gather more data beyond the resume and the interview by using a good assessment. Skills assessment, cognitive assessment, behavior assessment. We here at Applicant Pro use the preview. We're looking at learning speed, Can they get up to speed and assimilate or take information in and do something with it fast enough or based on what's required here? Are they motivated and interested in doing the things that the job requires them to do on a daily basis, or are they going to get bored and disengaged? And finally, their personality. Are they a fit for what it takes to be successful in the job? Will doing the job well come naturally to them, or will it be forced? Will they constantly be doing things that force them to act outside of their natural approach to life and naturally how they act, right? Next up, don't overhire. Now this one is a little bit out there, but effectively just because you can hire somebody with a bachelor's degree to do a job doesn't mean you should. If you hire somebody who's overly qualified for a job, there's a chance they're going to just want to move on to something else. And if you don't have that career path available to them, they're going to leave. So you only want to overhire if you have a career path for that person to move on to, right? And so finally, just a little touch point, if you get that perfect person who is going to be a fit, you better kill the new hire experience. It better be engaging. From the second that job seeker decides they want to take the job and accepts your offer, they start to doubt that they made the right decision. You need to reassure them that they did make a good decision, that your organization really is what you said, that you are credible, that your promises that you promised them throughout the hiring process are real. So kill the hiring process. So those are the steps to how to ensure that you can prevent bad hires and make sure you're predicting who will be a good hire. Now, I told you that if you stuck around to the end, I'd tell you how to download our turnover analyzer. What it is a simple spreadsheet that will walk you through all the people who have left over the past year and allow you to put them in buckets based on how long they were with your organization. Were they a new hire that turned over or a tenured employee who turned over? And based on their performance, were they a high performer, a medium performer, low performer? Based on that data, you'll be able to look at the quadrants of where your turnover is happening, because each of those areas comes with a different approach to prevent that turnover from happening. So click on the link below, download our turnover analyzer. It will help you get a clear picture for what you need to do to actually start solving your turnover problems. Hope that this video today finds you well. I hope that things are going well in your hiring process. Until next time, good luck hiring.